This is going to be great. You know what? No matter what, guys, Tom is back on Tuesday. And so just, point your toes and think of handbags. Let's see. So now Alpha Geek Radio should be hearing us. I am going to immediately stop and start the audio record again. And it's Darren, you feeling ready?
Yeah, I'm set. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Stopping the record. Starting the record. About to play some music. Oh, wait. No, I need the lineup in front of me. This is hard. How does Tom do this?
It's muscle memory for him now.
Muscle memory. All right, here we go. Tell me if you hear it. This is the Daily Tech News Show for Friday, May 15th, 2015. Tom Merritt is out of office, so it is Producer's Choice Friday. I'm Jenny Josephson, and Roger Chang and I are pressing the buttons and reading the headlines today, but mercifully, we are not alone.
That's right, Jenny. Our regular Friday team is also here today to make sure nothing goes horribly, horribly off the rails. We have Darren Kitchen and, of course, the amazing Len Peralta.
Yay!
Yay! That's right. You can blame it on us if everything goes awry.
That's the whole point. That's what we're doing. We're spreading the blame across 4 people instead of just 2.
I can take a quarter of the blame. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Excellent. All right, well, yesterday we accidentally made Justin and Andrew Main read and react to about 35 headlines, which was hilarious. So we're going to try to make sure we stick to under 10 today. But we're going to start off with, oh, by the way, no music because I couldn't make it onto my soundboard, so we're going to add that in post like we do. TechCrunch reports that Google announced it will begin testing autonomous vehicles on public roads in Mountain View this summer. The self-piloted vehicles will be limited to a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour, and each will include a safety driver who can take over at any point. Hopefully they'll be paying attention. Google said its fleet has logged nearly 1 million miles of cumulative driving within its test facilities, which Google says is equal to 75 years of human driving experience. We're going to have much more on this to come in the discussion section, but I want everybody to kick this off with one word about this. Roger, what's your one word?
I would like to have a self-driving car.
Darren?
Swerve!
All right. Well, moving from cars to airlines, United Airlines announced this week that it's launching a bug bounty program inviting researchers to report bugs on its websites, apps, and online portals. It's believed to be the first bounty program offered by an airline, but wide reports that United's program specifically, and this is very important, excludes bugs on onboard Wi-Fi, entertainment systems, or avionics. And United notes that, quote, any testing on aircraft or aircraft systems, such as in-flight entertainment or in-flight Wi-Fi, could result in criminal investigations. Researchers who report vulnerabilities in the airline's websites or apps will be rewarded in mileage points, so no real cash, but possibly a discounted flight to somewhere. The awards range from 50,000 points for cross-site scripting bugs to 1 million for high-severity vulnerabilities that could allow an attacker to conduct remote code execution on a United system.
This is cool, and this is most likely in reaction to something that happened a few weeks ago where United banned a security researcher by the name of Chris Roberts after he was tweeting about some of the insecurities of their in-flight Wi-Fi system, specifically it being connected to their avionics systems, which isn't really cool. It's typical to see, like in, say, a penetration test, a scope of engagement, where they'll say, like, this is what you can attack and this is what you can't, which is cool that they're saying, like, hey, please don't hack the Wi-Fi stuff. Maybe that's a little bit of them, like, admitting it's vulnerable. I don't know. But the thing is, like, malicious actors, bad actors, don't see those sort of limitations. So I would hope that maybe in a controlled environment, they would allow security researchers to actually hammer on those systems to make it better.
Now, I'm still amazed that they don't separate, or at least firewall, off the passenger section Wi-Fi from the stuff that actually needs the plane to work.
There's so many things that bewilder me when it comes to aviation and security. For example, ADS-B or TCAS, these surveillance broadcast systems that prevent planes from running into each other, totally unauthenticated, unencrypted, and the FAA knows it, and they say, like, well, you know, so security is hard.
Security is hard. But driving is easy. According to the Wall Street Journal, activist investor Carl Icahn has invested $100 million in ride-sharing startup Lyft. The money is an extension of a round of funding Lyft announced in March that values the three-year-old company at $2.5 billion. In an interview, Mr. Icahn said putting money into San Francisco-based Lyft is a good deal when compared with larger rival Uber technologies, which is valued at $41 billion. Jonathan Christodoro, one of Icahn's managing directors, will be added to Lyft's board of directors. Uber has expanded to more than 250 cities internationally, but to date, Lyft operates in 65 cities only in the United States. So Carl Icahn is bargain hunting.
He is, and if anyone knows anything about Carl Icahn, he drives a very hard bargain. So I'm wondering at what point will the other investors on Lyft begin to get tired of him, because he's known to, they use the term activist investor like it's something positive, but he's just really a loudmouth guy who wants to make sure he gets more money than he put in. And so it's good for Lyft. They do need the funding, so could be a rare case where he actually does something positive.
All right, wait and see.
All right. The next web has a story from the Financial Times reporting that an executive at a European carrier confirmed that it and several of its peers are planning to start blocking adverts this year. And it will be available as an opt-in service. However, they are also considering applying the technology across their entire mobile networks. According to the report's anonymous sources, the carriers have installed software from Israeli ad blocking firm Shine in their data centers to block advertising in web pages and apps, but not social networks. The plan, which would be devastating to companies reliant on advertising, is not limited to a single European network, and apparently its aim is to break Google's stranglehold on online advertising. So it's very. The thing is, I'm not sure this will actually pass muster with EU regulators, just because of the way it works. But it does signal kind of the profound threat that Google has on a lot of different markets, even the EU, which is a very large market to be in. That all these existing advertisers or firms feel threatened that they need to band together and break its hold.
Well, I look at this and I see that this, on the technical side, I think that the problem here is that we're still relying on really antiquated protocols like HTTP, which can be meddled with in transit. That's what enables this Israeli ad block system to even work. And unfortunately, there's no ubiquitous way to actually verify the web page that you downloaded is actually the one that was served up. The carriers can just as easily replace and remove ads as they could, say, replace headlines from CNN.com to make it say that kittens have taken over the White House. So I think what we really need here is actually a system that will ensure that what we're being served is actually what's being sent, which will not only satisfy advertisers because they know that, hey, if we bake it into the page, it will be seen, but it'll help security and privacy advocates because it will help with censorship.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, as we all know, businesses it's kind of like electricity. They take the path of least resistance. Anything that costs more money that they have to do, even if it's in their better interest, generally kind of gets shuffled off to the side or put on the back burner as they kind of concentrate on the now.
Well, the system always finds a way, and that's why I'm saying, just hack together a better protocol where you can no longer do that and it's not a viable business, and then we all win.
Yeah.
Is there something going on in the security world we should know about, Darren?
Yeah, Krebs on Security, he's reporting on a cache of data apparently stolen from the spyware service MSpy, which is currently stored on a Tor web server. The data includes account information from some 4 million events, including photos and calendar data, corporate email threads, and more. MSpy, if you're not familiar with it, MSpy promotes itself as a way to monitor family members and boasts over 1 million users, potentially even jealous lovers. When surreptitiously installed on iOS or Android, it will collect SMS messages, Skype, WhatsApp, Snapchat, as well as all other keystrokes. So it's spyware, and they just got owned. It's kind of actually ironic that the piece of software that, say, potentially an overprotective parent would put on their child's phone is, in fact, the device that is undoing their child's security by allowing them to become doxxed.
it is definitely kind of a it kind of stirs you right.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of things that serve other people, Oculus has revealed. It's a really bad segue. I apologize. Oculus has revealed the recommended specification for PC rigs powering the Oculus Rift headset, according to TechCrunch. Now, these are the specs that they recommend: an NVIDIA GTX 970 video card or AMD 290 equivalent or greater, an Intel i5 4590 equivalent or greater, and 8 gigs of RAM. Now, that's the recommended. They also have a required, which is essentially the minimum spec. You need Windows 7 Service Pack 1 or newer, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and an HDMI 1.3 video output supporting 297 megahertz clock via direct output architecture. Now, in their blog post, the Oculus chief architect Atman Binstock says that GPU performance is super important because you're basically running two 2160 by 1200 displays, one for each eye, at 90 hertz simultaneously, which takes around 3 times the GPU power of your average full HD 1080p rendering that you would get in a game or any kind of other situation. Drop frames are also fine on traditional desktops, but for the most part, while missing frames in VR results in results in discomfort, disorientation, and sometimes seasickness. Binstock also notes that Oculus still wants to develop for Mac and Linux, but at this stage, they quote don't have a timeline, which means maybe 2-3 years. It's pretty beefy specs, but considering the technology, it's not surprising.
When can I play it, and what can I play? These are the things I want to know. Anyway, IGN reports that Harmonix, maker of the upcoming Rock Band 4, revealed the first 6 songs in the new game, only one of which I really know. Can you guess which one? The songs are Avenged Sevenfold's Hail to the King, Fleetwood Mac's You Make Lovin' Fun, Jack White, Lazaretto, The Killers, Somebody Told Me, The Spin Doctors, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong, and The Who's The Seeker. So if you didn't guess, it was The Spin Doctors. Hey 90s, great to have you back. Rock Band 4 is coming sometime this fall, and Harmonix just did a live demo a little while back, so check out that video, which we will link to in the show notes.
I liked Spin Doctors when they came out when I was in college. Don't need them now.
I like Spin Doctors now because I'm that old.
I still just prefer Rock Band over Guitar Hero because it's like a more community. It's not a negative reinforcement game. It's not one of those where it's just constantly irking at you every time you miss a note. It's good stuff.
It's fun.
It is. It's a fun game, and I do prefer Guitar Hero over Rock Band. But basically, because Rock Band needs you doesn't require, sort of implicitly demands that you have an ensemble with you, which some of us are learners.
Yeah, it's more fun if you do.
Polygon reports that Blizzard's Diablo 3 has been overrun by cows in honor of the 3rd anniversary of the game. Battle.net will only say that rumors allege that townships throughout Honduras are being overrun by bipedal, Bardish-bearing bovine, and then strenuously denies any knowledge of their existence. The event is homage to the secret cow level in Diablo 2 and will continue until dusk on May 21st.
A Bardish-bearing bovine. I wrote that just for you, Roger.
That is a tongue twister. That is a tongue.
Sorry.
I will say that I will try. I will try to find it.
Yeah. If you were one of the people who felt a burning sensation of injustice when Fox announced it canceled the Mindy project after only 3 seasons, then listen up. Engadget reports that Hulu will pick up the series starting with a 26-episode 4th season. That's a lot of episodes for a streaming platform. That's a pretty big deal. The show, which is named for star Mindy Kaling, already streams on the TV subscription service as one of several Fox series available there. So the news isn't too surprising, but still very welcome to the core community. There's no word on a premiere date just yet, but when it arrives, it'll be one of the many Hulu original series that you really mean to watch, but just haven't yet. Canceled broadcast shows are, of course, getting revived online regularly these days, as Yahoo nabbed Community, which I still haven't watched, but totally mean to, and Netflix is no stranger to picking up discarded series, too. So all of this magic is happening, and yet there is still no quantum leap. Strive to put right what once went wrong, Hulu. Do it for me.
I mean, but do we really want Scott Bakula?
I do. I do.
He's leaped through 20 years of his life, and he's still in the past.
It's amazing.
He'll always be the captain to me.
Oh, all right. So now we've got upcoming some news from you, which we picked from the subreddit, and Roger's going to kick us off with that.
Yes, Hobbit. Oh,
You want me to jump in?
Yeah.
Habichuela con dulce.
Sent us this warning about mobile payments and passwords. Starbucks app users are getting their bank accounts drained by password-guessing thieves, according to Gizmodo. People with Starbucks rewards can link the coffee payment app to their bank accounts or credit cards or PayPal accounts. Big flashing warning lights right there. Scammers buy gift cards and then sell them illegally. Now, consumer journalist Bob Sullivan said that Starbucks mobile payments fraud are a big deal with the company because they process around $2 billion in mobile transactions as of last year. Now, Starbucks has acknowledged that this scam is happening, but it hasn't said that it's been hacked, that we haven't been hacked. Instead, they're blaming users for using poor passwords. And I can kind of believe them. I mean, I don't know, connecting anything to your bank account, I'm sorry. There's a truism in technology. The more convenient you make it, the more liable it's going to get hacked. It's just
you have to think about security as a chain, and if, say, you're trying to protect your bank account, you have to consider all of the things that are then linked to it, and that applies to anything. But yes, you're absolutely right. Convenience is always going to win out in this society, and that's why, considering it is their app, rather than blame it on their customers' bad passwords, maybe update the app so that it doesn't allow you to register with a bad password, although that would make the... No, that's not going to go.
They could just do two-factor authentication.
No.
You got to do it once. You know what it is?
They're going to make it as simple as possible because they need you to be able to do it at the register.
This is Roger's old guy one word of advice to everyone out there. Don't connect anything to your bank account, all right? The only one who has access to it is me and perhaps the bank. That's it. No one else.
Yep. Another Jay Martin submitted the Ars Technica article with this amazing headline: Humanity weeps as Candy Crush Saga comes pre-installed with Windows 10. We almost don't have to say anything more, but Microsoft announced that King's addictive game will be the minesweeper of Windows 10, and, if that's not enough, will include cross-play options for iOS and Android devices. No word yet if there's an opt-out for those who want to use the new Windows operating system to actually work.
The Lewis guy sent us a Torrent Freak article about angry YouTube man Benjamin Laguerre, who has filed a lawsuit at the U.S. District Court for District of Rhode Island, which lists Google, Viacom, Lionsgate, and another YouTuber as defendants. Laguerre bemoans a restrictive YouTube user contract and a system that unfairly handles copyright complaints. Laguerre says that he has uploaded content to YouTube under the name Better Stream for purposes including, quote, criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholar. Wow, he's really loading this down. A scholarship and or research, but never in breach of copyright. Nevertheless, he claims to have fallen foul of YouTube's automated anti-piracy systems when he uploaded what he claims is a parody of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movie, only to have it removed by YouTube after another YouTube user filed a complaint.
I mean, I'm kind of glad he's doing this. I don't know necessarily if he's the strongest case study, but somebody's got to crack that system because it really is a pain in the butt, and it absolutely prevents you from uploading things to YouTube that you would otherwise like to do.
But the thing to understand, ultimately YouTube is a privately held entity platform, and you need to subscribe to its rules. It's when they were a little less stringent, it was awesome. But as more vested interests and more money and more people start taking a closer look at it, you invariably run into these things, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. It is their playground, and even if it weren't for the DMCA, they could just say we can take your video down because we want to. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. So I guess in that case, you could just host it on your own. It's not hard to these days.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Put it on archive.org.
I don't have the music, so I'm just gonna say do 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 do. All right. So as we mentioned in the headlines, Google's self-driving cars are coming to public roads this summer. The vehicles will be limited to a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour, and each will include a safety driver who can take over at any point via the onboard wheel, brake, and accelerator. Gentlemen, discuss.
Yeah, I actually am very much in favor of the whole concept, if not necessarily the first iterations of autonomous automobiles. I mean, it's been one of the kind of goals ever since like the 50s to have a car where you could just kind of sit back and let it drive itself, so you can work for the man 24/7 and not be disturbed by something like driving yourself home from the corporate office. Um, but at the same time, and there's a number of hurdles I think they need to overcome. The number one is like the very litigious nature of people, at least in the U.S., when it comes to things like this.
Yeah, I feel like, part of it is the American love affair with the automobile, and I kind of wish that as much effort is being put towards revamping public transit so that we have more efficient means of getting around, but that's never going to take place because we have to be independent with our cars and such. And so these baby steps are going to take a long, long time. 25 miles an hour sounds pretty good, but I actually have a feeling that that's actually going to cause more incidents because the self-driving is limited at that speed, because at least here in California, if you're not also going 10 miles over the limit, you're going to get cut off and
Run over.
Run over, yeah.
I mean, the larger point to me is that everybody has to do this all at once, or else it's not going to work, and nobody's ever going to want to do this all. Like, not everybody's going to want to do this, so then it leads you to the question of, like, all right, so are there going to be whole separate, like, freeway systems for self-driving cars?
I think.
Yeah, we could put them on rails, and we could put all the cars on different rails, and then they could just, we could have trains pull them, in fact.
Ugh.
So you guys bring up a really interesting point, and one of my at least philosophical things about self-driving cars is, if you take it to its logical kind of end, it can serve actually as a private or a hybrid private public transit system. Right? Imagine if you could take one of these cars and you could kind of hitch it into a train, you put it on an HOV lane that it's entirely automated. So for that entire stretch of your commute, say on, up here on 280 or 101, everyone in that chain doesn't have to touch their car. It's moving at the optimal speed for like a 10-car train of these cars with another 10 behind it, which would be great. And I honestly think that initially there will be rules that will say that as long as you're in the HOV lane for this section of highway, you can drive. You'll have a little sign that says, a diamond lane. A diamond lane automatically enables you to have automated driving mode. It hits the freeway, and then when it's coming off and you're about to turn off, it warns you and says, you better grab the steering wheel. And if you don't, it's just going to keep on going in the giant loop around the freeway.
Yeah, the handoff is where a lot of the problem is, because if you are figuring, like, the reason we want self-driving cars is so that we can be, like, texting our friends and stuff instead of having to keep our eyes on the road. But when the car does alert us and say, hey, a situation is occurring that's going to require your human ability to drive the car, not my computer ability to drive the car, so please take over, it turns out that the switchover takes somewhere around 7 seconds, which is, like, way too long. And unfortunately, there's not a patch to the human to make us better at doing that. There's a really...
You're either all paying attention or not paying attention. There's no kind of sort of paying attention in a car.
Right, and there's a great article on Medium detailing from the perspective of the self-driving car and how the incidents that the Google and other researchers testing these have discovered is that we're just terrible drivers. I think what was really interesting is that of like 50% of the serious injuries on U.S. roads happen in intersections, and Google pointed out a really good example of, like, say, a bicyclist in an intersection at the same time that the light turns green on the opposing traffic and almost gets hit. And this is totally the case as somebody who has, in fact, been in a serious injury in an intersection. I was actually told by a California police officer that the most dangerous color in California is fresh green. And so, yeah, you're right. It's either we are all in self-driving cars or...
Yeah.
or there's few of them that are going slow and obeying the laws and getting cut off by all the non-self-driving cars.
I think it'll be in a weird hybrid mode. Like a system failsafe won't allow you to turn it on until you reach an approved section of road or highway or whatever deemed by the state that you can use it on. I mean, it's actually quite it's quite seductive if you can think about it. If you imagine, like you were talking about mass transit, imagine if you had a mass transit system where each of the compartments that you sat in, you actually just kind of leased out. It would drop you directly at your door, right? Instead of owning the actual car. And this is great because one of the concerns is like, well, what if someone doesn't maintain their automated car and some of the sensors fail and, it goes spinning off. Well, if all you do is lease it and then you turn it in after a set amount of time, then they can refurbish, make sure everything's up to spec. So you're never having to worry about someone driving like a 15-year-old, Google car, even though the technology's bypassed it, 10 times in that same amount of time. I don't know. It's I like the idea. I think it'd be great. I think maybe because
I love it too. I just feel like, it's not, you have to accept the fact that it's never going to be perfect and that it takes a huge change in the infrastructure. When you think about things like autopilot on airplanes, which we've had, since the 60s, with like glide scopes and Autoland and things of that nature, even still in this day and age, we have incidents with those because computers malfunction. Even as early as 2009, Turkish Airlines Boeing 737 crashed in Amsterdam when its radio altimeter was malfunctioning, reporting it being some 8 feet higher than it actually was. And by the time that the crew actually noticed, and just similar to a car saying, hey, humans, something's not right here, take over, by the time they figured out, they were already in a low-speed stall, and it was already too late.
Too late.
Yeah, but I mean,
people died.
But the point you bring up is, and the analogy to this is that when you do a handoff on an automated car, you're going going off a highway and off, into a surface street. Takeoff and departures, a plane is the most dangerous, part of flying. For like 90% of the flight, most pilots let the autopilot fly because there's nothing to really do, and it measures out the actual arrival time where they need to end up at the airport. You can't arrive too soon. You don't want to arrive too late, and so there's always this kind of, desire to be at a perfect thing. You just let the computer handle that portion of it, right? I'm not saying that you will have the car drive you, down to the Safeway automatically. But like if you're on a 2-hour commute, it's a pretty straight run of road. Yeah, granted you have to stop and maybe the occasional person jerk might cut you off, but we have technology that already kind of addresses that. And if we can do that portion of it, I think it would save a lot of people time.
Bottom line, when are we getting this? And then we're gonna.
I would say cars. I think initial cars next year, and then possibly by 2020, very rich people will have access to selected roads to do whatever they want on.
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys. And if you guys have any thoughts about self-driving cars, do feel free to write us at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. And we have 2 picks of the day today. I always love it when these things come in weird batches. Like we get 2 of the exact same pick of the day. So Roger's going to take the first one, and I'm going to tell you about the second one.
And this one's from Christian Cantrell. He writes, "Hey guys, with all the recent wearables discussion, I thought I'd submit one of my favorite devices for a pick of the day, the new Garmin Fenix 3 Fitness smartwatch. With Apple Watch, Android Wear, and Pebble Time getting most of the smartwatch attention, it's easy to overlook the Fenix. But if you're looking for a smartwatch that is a watch first, fitness tracker second, and a smart device last, this is it. The best features of the Fenix are always-on color display, built-in GPS, both activity and hardcore training features, extensive outdoor and hiking features, iOS, Android compatible, smart notifications from your phone, water resistant to 100 meters. I could go on and on about why I think for many people the Fenix 3 is the best smartwatch, but it basically reduces to this. It's a watch first, activity fitness device second, and an extension of your smartphone last. For me, it's exactly the right priority."
So that was Christian. And then David Wilkie writes in, "Hello, Tom, Jenny, Roger, co-host," and he's just south of lovely Cleveland in Columbus. A few months ago, David lost his Pebble watch, so he's been holding out on a replacement decision pending the Pebble 2 and the Apple Watch, and he's still weighing his options. So he was in the golf store the other day, and all the golf GPS widgets and wearables caught his eye. I mean, the pro shop is a very dangerous place to be. And so he wanted to see if there were any wearables that do all fitness stuff plus notifications. So they showed him the Garmin Vivo Active, which they hadn't yet put on display. So it's similar to the new Pebble. It has a color e-ink display, but Vivo Active is touchscreen. Just swipe the display to bring up notifications, calendar, music player, weather, and the activities. Additionally, the Vivo Active has built-in GPS and specific tracking apps for run, bike, and walk, both stationary, treadmill, or outside. It also has a swimming tracking app, as the watch is water resistant to 5 ATMs. And of course, since it was in the Pro Shop, it has a golf app that you upload your most frequent courses to the watch, and you have golf GPS. So he says it's very lightweight and has a similar look and feel to original Pebble, and they're slowly building out their app store so you can download different faces. So bottom line, David is bummed he lost his Pebble, but he's pleasantly surprised at how Garmin is becoming competitive in the smartwatch space. So send your pics, if you have them, to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find Tom's pics on our website on the pics page, dailytechnewsshow.com/pics. All right, so now we have some messages of the day. Oh, wait, no, that's just a mistake. Oh, mistake. All right. So this is in the discussion on Thursday, May 14, 2015. I think the comparison of Walmart to Amazon is off base. I think Walmart is missing their greatest strength, and that is their stores being everywhere. What they should do is use the Best Buy model. That is to buy things that are in the local store and just have them ready for pickup. I find Best Buy's service in this category to be awesome. No looking through the store for items that you're looking for. The items are available within the same day. If Walmart had the same ability, I would love it. It would save a lot of time that is normally wasted looking for items throughout the store. Now, Roger's going to read you one, and then I'm going to tell you who wrote that one because I totally forgot to add it.
All right. One of the reasons that I love the DTNS audience is because they are so devoted to getting things right. Yesterday we had an email about sound standards, which would end up paired with the new Blu-rays coming down the road. Today, Josh Gardner wrote the original email, wrote us again. He writes this time, yesterday my email regarding the audio spec that will be used on Blu-ray was read on the show, and I incorrectly stated that DTS had not yet announced their audio spec. Dolby has, and it will be called Dolby Atmos, as a quick reminder. Apparently, DTS did announce a spec last week, and I missed it. It will be called DTS-X. Aside from the aforementioned compressed audio and uncompressed audio, DTS-X will not use discrete channels like Dolby Digital. Instead, it will use an algorithm to extrapolate your particular speaker setup, supporting a limitless number of speakers in any shape and position. The Blu-ray spec will support DTS-X and Dolby Digital Atmos.
All right, so it was Paul Franz who did that first one. So that made me happy. And then that one was a guy named David. So, no, that was Josh. All right,
David.
I'm getting confused.
You're right, it's David. It was off to...
Oh, no, wait, I'm confused. That's a different thing. I think there was some cutting and pasting situation. We made it so far in this show, doing reasonably well.
We did great.
Things got a little goofy. But the reason why things went so well is really Darren Kitchen, who jumped in as usual on Friday, our wonderful Friday contributor, who never misses a Friday unless he's in a bunker somewhere. So Darren, tell us what's going on with you.
Oh man, we've got so much great things happening over at Hack5. We recently relaunched ThreatWire. It's a show all about security, privacy, and internet freedom. It's by myself as well as Patrick Norton and Shannon Morse, and we're bringing that 3 days a week. So we've been covering all sorts of good stuff happening between Venom and NSA metadata collection and some of the other stories we've talked about today. So go and check it out if you're interested in security and privacy. It's at hack5.org, or you can just Google ThreatWire. It's all good stuff.
Awesome. And then Len Peralta has given us driverless DTNS.
Yes, this show was kind of driving itself, and I think you guys did a great job. So for those of you who could not see this in the video, it's a driverless car that is actually saying, and I'm assuming it's Tom who's kind of controlling it, saying, shouldn't you be paying attention to oh God, the babies, what have you done to the babies? and Jenny is saying, she's singing I'm Little Miss Can't Be Wrong to the Spin Doctors. Roger Chang is singing I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, because we talked pre-show about the Carpenters. And with Mad Max coming out today, Darren Kitchen is saying, "What a lovely day."
Yes.
Oh, this is spectacular, and also I love it because not only is it the Spin Doctors, but I am technically Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. So I think it's a
It was just one of those
double-
last-minute things that I added that I thought, "Oh, this is perfect." Why, because I almost wrote, "I'm the queen of the world." I'm like, no, she's Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. So,
That is correct in so many ways.
Oh my gosh, I have to buy this right now. Where do I buy it?
Right now.
oh yes,
right
you can
now.
actually go to lenperaltastore.com. You can pick it up there. It is actually on the site right now as we speak. You can also get all the prints that I do if you back me at Patreon at the DTNS lover level. You'll get every single one of these for free digitally. It's great. And also one more thing at the online store, I've just Geek a Week is available. I've just launched a new season of Geek a Week, which you can actually now pick up the cards and the trading cards and the game, which includes Tom Merritt, Veronica Belmont, Justin Robert Young, a bunch of people, Scott Johnson, a bunch of folks that are friends of Frog Pants. And if you look, I've added a limited amount of Geek a Week black decks, Kickstarter exclusive decks that come with a surprise card in it. So if you were a fan of, I can't really tell you what the card is. Let's just say I will say CAH. That's all I'll say.
All right.
So,
I want to add that you guys may or may not know that Len also does custom drawings for people, and he just did one for me this past weekend, which was spectacular. I can't tell you who it was for because they haven't received it yet because I'm going to print it out all special and pretty, but I thought that it was a really great process and an incredibly special gift, so don't forget that also happens.
absolutely.
Also,
thank you for that.
yeah. Also, thanks to Roger Chang, who came in here and gave this show some serious legitimacy today.
Serious.
Serious legitimacy.
I've never heard that phrase used before.
And of course, thanks to all of our 5,054 patrons who have been making it possible for us to have contributors, making it possible for me to pay my rent, and most importantly, making it possible for Tom Merritt to broadcast ad-free and independent, which is an incredibly rare, incredibly valuable thing in today's world. So thank you guys for that. I wish I could thank you like every day, but really we'll just keep trying to bring you the best show we possibly can.
Yeah, and our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Call us 512-59-DAILY and listen to the show live at TuneIn at alphageekradio.com and visit our website at dailytechnewsshow.com.
Woohoo! All right, you guys should be hearing some theme music. Monday's guest, Veronica Belmont, will fill in for Tom on the last day that Tom is not here, and we liked him so much, we brought him back. Roger Chang will be her guest, so I hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you Monday.
Bye.
All right, so that music's still playing, I guess. All I can see it is on the board, but I can't. Oh, you know what I can do? I can play this. Can I?
This podcast is part of the Frog Pants Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
And I couldn't get the Diamond Club one, so I'm going to recreate it, which is Diamond Club has. Wait, what did they say? I
Diamond
forget.
Club hopes you've enjoyed this show.
All right, let me stop this recording. Oh my goodness! Thank you guys so much. That was incredible.
Yay!
It
That was
happened.
awesome.
I got to look at this picture again. I'm making this
This
the
is so
picture
good.
again.
I just bought it.
This is incredible. I
And
love it,
it-
Tom. Guys.
It came together at the very last. I was scared when I added those things about Spin Doctors and Mad Max and the Carpenters. It came together for me. So
Wow.
It actually.
I love it.
It actually. It has, to me, it has shades of Charlie's Angels, where Tom is just Charlie, and we're like running around doing his bidding.
that makes me Bosley, I guess.
Yeah. You just need less hair.
How does that guy sound like this? He's got a real weird voice.
Yeah. I just,
That's pretty amazing. All right, so some titles. We have breaking news: kittens are taking over the White House, and I don't know what Archiver's one was, but it's do 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 do. If you
What
guys
is
can
Archiver
listen
going
to
on
that.
about?
Oh, that
I
was
don't
you know what
know.
that is? That was how you sang the theme song.
Oh,
Do, do, do,
right.
do.
All right, I like that. And then we have I was like, that's that game where if you tap something, it's very apparent to you what it is, but if the person hearing the tapping can't figure out what the song is, they just did a study about that. But we also have bipedal bardish-bearing bovines, which
That's a
to
good
me really is one of the only. But let's see what else we have. Candy Crush's Minesweeper. That's good. Security is hard, but driving is easy. Oh, this is pretty great. Icahn has Lyft.
That's pretty funny. I will vote
That's
for
pretty
that.
funny. I like that one a lot. Let's see if there's anything. Doxing your own family. There is no cow level. Quantum Hulu. Thank you very much. Whose was that? Nth Mike. Sergey, take the wheel. Let's see.
Sergey.
Oh, that's totally what Google needs for the self-driving car is an anthropomorphized virtual assistant that drives kind of like Siri. So it's like, and Google now is just not doing it. It just doesn't have enough personality. We need like some sort of like Kermit the Frog type character that's like, I got the wheel, Bob. Like,
Now, I would just say redige the voice from Knight Rider, and just tell everyone you're driving Kit,
oh yes.
and then you'll totally believe that the car drives itself. It'll be awesome. And then you'll get sidetracked on adventures as you try to uncover a corruption at a local municipality or something like that, where you're smuggling drugs.
No. What I like is give it the Hal voice from 2001 and just be like, Hal, take the Howard Street exit, and then have your car be like, I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave.
What if it gave you the voice of your mother, and so it would drive, but it was also nag you at the same time, so you always feel like you're
That would be How I Drove Your Mother.
Oh,
Len, what am I seeing here? It looks awesome.
Oh,
what's
this
that one?
this is a logo I did for a
Mr.
client.
Monster Rockers.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
this is a logo I did for a client. Sorry, I didn't realize I was still on. And
You're
this
still
is
on. Put your picture back.
This is a cover of I'm working on. That's another project I'm working on. But there you go. That's
Super awesome. All right, well, I'm going to probably end this post show because I have so much work to do on publishing this, and then I'm going to Disneyland because that's what you do after you get through a week, apparently.
Do you have a season pass?
We do. I got Matt one for his 40th birthday. I got me one too. So a number of us are going down there and just going to hang out in the rain at Disneyland, which sounds like the best thing.
Awesome.
nice.
Oh, yeah. So excited.
I'm going to a play this evening, so I have to take off.
Oh, bye, Len. Thank you so much, and thank you for everything.
Bye.
This is
See you later.
really great.
Bye.
Enjoy the spaghetti.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you guys later.
All right, I'm
That broadcast. Todd Whitehead, you can stop that AGR.
Right, so I'll